How's it? Welcome back to part 2 of my beer making video. So it's been about 2 weeks and my beer has fermented nicely in the garage in a dark cupboard, and I've managed to keep the temperature about 28 to 22 degrees the whole time. And I did this because I actually made a little Sonoff Wi-Fi heat controller with a little heating pad on here, and I actually made a video about how I did that and what I did, so I'll link that in the description below. So now the beer is ready and we need to put it into bottles. So I've already washed and dried and cleaned all my bottles, and I've sanitized everything that may come in contact with the beer, because now we don't want to mess it up now. We've already waited 2 weeks. We've still got 2 weeks to go in the bottles. We don't want to stuff our beer up. But before we bottle the beer, what we need to do is add a carbonation sugar that is going to allow the beer to carbonate, and it just goes through a slight fermentation in the bottle as well. So there's a couple of options. You get bottling sugars that you can add directly into the bottles. You can get bottling sugars that you mix with water first, and you can add it to the fermenter. That's what I've done. And you can get little bottling tablets like this, and you chuck them straight into the bottle when you bottle the beer. A bunch of options that you can use. But for me, I've gone with the bottling sugar. That is enough for this 20-litre container. So I think this is 160 grams of sugar. I mixed it with a cup of water, and I just boiled it for 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chuck it into the fermenter now, give it a good stir, and then I'm going to allow 30 minutes for all that to settle. This is my spoon, which I've sanitized in advance. You don't want to mess this up at this stage. Okay, so that's nicely stirred in. I'm going to cover it up just so nothing goes inside there while we wait. And we're going to give that about 30 minutes to just settle and get all the solids that's floating around inside there just to settle to the bottom. So what I also did about 24 hours ago is I chucked in some finnings or finings, not sure the pronunciation, but basically it's like a flocculant. So what it does is it attaches to all the particles that are floating around in the beer. They all clump together and then they sink to the bottom so that you get a much clearer beer out of the end. I don't know if it's worked, I don't know if I've given it enough time, but we'll see it. It was worth a try. I used a product from Brew for Africa, I think, or Brew Africa, called Finings or Finnings. Also a very popular one is called Irish Moss. Couldn't get hold of that. It's been out of stock everywhere. So hopefully that's going to help me get a clearer beer. So while you're waiting for your beer just to settle again, if you haven't cleaned your bottles, make sure you do that. Again, I just washed these all. These are the glass ones I had. I've got some plastic ones as well, because you just can't get glass bottles at the moment. I washed them and then I sanitized them with the same no-rinse sanitizer I used last time. I just shook it around, emptied it out, and I've just left everything to dry nicely. You don't want that sanitizer really mixing with your beer when it's still wet. It can kill off the yeast and it can affect the taste a little bit. So I've sanitized the bottles. Along with those bottles, I've also sanitized the bottle caps. I've sanitized these screw-on caps with the plastic as well. I've sanitized my capper. Today I'm going to use this one. You put it over the crown cap and you hit it with a hammer. And then I've also sanitized this, and this is my filling tube. And this is going to attach to this fermenter, and then it's got a little valve at the bottom. So when you put the bottle on, it pushes the valve up, and then that allows you to actually fill the beer from the bottom of the bottle. And then once it's full, you can just stop, and it stops it there. So it's going to make filling much quicker and easier, and also prevent any sort of foaming that we might get. So I'm going to let that settle for half an hour, and then we will start filling bottles. So it's been about 30 minutes for this to settle. I don't know how clear it's going to be. It doesn't really matter. But if it's clear, that'll be cool. So I've already taken a hydrometer reading. So we know what the specific gravity of the beer is now, and we know what the specific gravity of the beer was when you put it in the fermenter. And from that, I can calculate the alcohol percentage. So that came out to about 4%, which is kind of what we expected. So that's cool. And now we're going to start bottling this beer. So I've attached this McGurdy here. This is going to allow us to fill from the bottom. I see there's some things dripping down it already. That's fine. And let's go ahead. So I realize you can probably see my tracksuit pants. So yeah, I am in my tracksuit pants. I haven't been out the house for a while, so you know, lockdown attire. That's what we wear these days. First, I just want to open this tap and just take off any gunk that's stuck inside here. Okay, so there's a bit of a leak. Okay, so we know we're going to have a bit of a leak, but that's fine. We just got to work quickly. So that's kind of where I'm aiming for, is just, you know, where a normal beer would be filled to, just over there. So it's going to leave a bit of space for the gas. There's going to be a gas building up inside here from the carbonation sugar we added. So you just want to leave a little bit of gas for that to happen. So in the meantime, I'm just going to put little caps on top of these. I'm not going to fully cap them because I just want to be able to do everything. But I want to keep the dust out for now, or anything that could fall in. So I'm just going to balance the little caps on top like that for now, until we are ready to cap. So there we have it. So this tap is now completely in the air. Now we'll have to go to a siphon, because if I check the level on here, I've still got about 5 litres of beer. I know the bottom part isn't useful, that's maybe 1 or 2 litres, but there's probably at least still 3 litres of beer we can bottle out of this bad boy. So now we're going to get a siphon filler. As you can see, I wasn't quite prepared for this particular thing, but we're managing here. So I think we got pretty much everything we can out of this fermenter. There's only a little bit left at the bottom here, and there's a lot of the sediment and the yeast and stuff lying at the bottom. So I think we did well. Yeah, so now we're just going to put those caps on the bottles. So these are the bottles we've got so far. These are the plastic ones, obviously I've already put the caps on, and then these are the glass ones, and we just got to cap these. So I'm going to use this crown capper, rubber mallet, and we're just going to knock all of these on gently but firmly to close them up. I've got another crown capper with the levers. It was my dad's old one, but I'm going to try this one. I haven't really used it, so I want to give it a shot. I don't know if you're meant to hit these things on in one shot or a couple of taps. I'll have to check a video. But so far this is working for me. Last one done. So there's the beer bottles. I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 litres in the plastic, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25 bottles in the glass. So that's 8 and a bit litres, almost 9 litres, and that's another 8.5. So we didn't do too badly. I think this will be a success. So now these need to go and still spend 2 more weeks in the bottles. The clear ones absolutely need to go into a dark place. Brown ones as well, but clear are more important because you don't want the light to interfere with your beer. I'm going to probably put them in a cooler box in the garage, and that in case anything ever goes wrong, something explodes, you've got it contained at least. So a couple of tips here. If you're going to be capping in glass bottles, make sure that you get reusable glass bottles. You can buy these from a couple of places. I bought these at Console. They are craft beer bottles, they call them, but they are reusable. Don't try and recap a Castle Light bottle. It is going to smash, and if you do manage to cap it, it's going to maybe break during fermentation. Those are single-use bottles, so you want to use reusable bottles. So you can buy these from somewhere like Console. You can use returnable dumpies, you can use quarts, anything that's returnable to the bottle store, you can put beer into. And then plastic as well. These are rated for a carbonated drink. So this is all I could get, but they should be fine as well. When I was a student, there used to be a brewery that used to only bottle in plastic bottles, and we were all fine. So I hope you enjoyed these 2 videos. I hope you can make some of your own beer. If you did enjoy it or you found that helpful, maybe give the video a like. Consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to keep on trying to bring interesting content, or at least what I find interesting, to you. And let me know if you've got anything to say in the comments. And until next time, stay safe.